Welcome back to this special edition of Meet the Leaders titled A Community Cares. I'm Christine Conti, and joining me now is Christina Boryk, the Executive Director of Rebuilding Together. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Rebuilding Together. Now,
Yes.
What is Rebuilding Together in comparison to Habitat for Humanity?
Rebuilding Together does home repairs and modifications for low-income homeowners in Dutchess County. And I guess the two biggest differences are that we are not building homes from scratch. We're dealing with owner-occupied homeowners, and we are doing repairs and modifications to bring their home back to a warm, safe, and dry environment. The other big difference is that we do not, the repairs that we do are at no cost to the homeowner, so there's no repaying to do in that home.
Okay, now you've been part of the community for a long time, but
Yes.
you've gone through several name changes.
Yes, well, we were originally founded as Christmas in April back in the 70s. We've been in Dutchess County for nearly 20 years, and we were originally founded as Christmas in April. And our flagship program is in April. We now call that our National Rebuilding Day on the last Saturday in April. But over the years, our affiliate network, of which there's 192 throughout the country, really started to expand what we do and do things throughout the year. And so in 2002, we felt that it was best to rechange our name to something that describes better what we do throughout the year and as a network. So we changed our name to Rebuilding Together. We are called Rebuilding Together Dutchess County because we serve only Dutchess County.
Ah, okay. Now, you are the executive there.
Yes.
But you were also once a volunteer.
I was.
And so you can also have that feeling and give maybe and explain what a home means to people.
A home is very important, actually, and statistically much more important than we might think about. Actually, children that grow up in a house that their family owns typically, statistically, do better even in school, believe it or not, than maybe somebody who's growing up in an apartment. And so really, the benefit of Rebuilding Together is that for low-income homeowners, we are helping them stay in their home and maintain affordable housing in Dutchess County over the long term.
So when you say stay in their home, why would they not stay in their home?
Well, if a low-income family is struggling with maintaining their home, if their roof is leaking and they're unable to stay there, or if it becomes unsafe because of electrical issues or things like that, they may not be able to stay in their home. And so we're trying to prevent the home from getting to that point where they would no longer be able to stay there.
And are there homes in Dutchess County that when you've gone onto the job that you've said, holy moly,
Yeah.
you've been dealing with this and you're wheelchair bound or there's something else going on, and that you say, gosh,
how does this happen? And unfortunately, entirely too many times. And one of our funding sources actually allows us to deal with code violations within the home. So even something as simple as having GFIs in the bathroom, in the kitchen, having smoke detectors, having electrical issues that maybe the homeowner's even unaware of. We went through a home actually that we did in April that the woman had extension cords throughout her home, crisscrossed all over the place, extremely dangerous. And that's actually not even what she had originally contacted us about. She had a roof issue that we dealt with both. But also we've had homeowners, veterans, spouses of veterans who cannot get out of their home because they're wheelchair bound. And so we're able to build them a wheelchair ramp and they can safely get in and out of their home.
And we were actually at one of your repair seminars, I guess I would call it. And so why don't we just take a look at that
Okay,
and see what was done there.
Volunteers painted, repaired the roof, and replaced the old windows. Recipients of services include the elderly, military veterans, and families in need.
Emil Melly is a veteran of World War II, and we are trying to do some basic home repairs.
I bet you haven't seen the back of these cabinets in years.
Right, you're right.
I'm glad to see all this. It makes it a little easier.
These are people who have volunteered of their time and their effort on a beautiful Saturday. It's about the volunteer spirit, it's about community spirit, and this is a perfect example of how all that comes together for those in our community who need help the most.
So who is able to apply for this? What type of people are you looking for?
So we're looking, as I mentioned before, we look at the median income for the county, and you must be 80% or below. And certainly that's a sliding scale depending on the number of people living in the home. Also that you must own your house and you must live in Dutchess County. But we give preference to elderly, disabled, veterans and single parents of school-aged children. So you saw in that video, Heroes at Home, that's actually a partnership between Rebuilding Together and Sears. And Sears has funded that program to allow us to serve veterans and their veterans' families. So it's a wonderful program, even with our World War II vets who have since passed, but their spouses are still here and are really struggling to maintain their home. That program allows us to serve them as well.
But when you say veterans, I'm thinking somebody who's probably almost too proud to even ask for help. So how do they get help then? Do they ask for help, or is it somebody who's recommending for them to get help? Because sometimes those people are very proud.
Sometimes they are, and you're right. And oftentimes we'll get a child of an elderly person that helps them complete the application, or referral services like social services or Catholic Charities or Dutchess Community Action Partnership, where they're getting other services through those other programs, and they will refer them to us as well. And then we do things through the Veterans Affairs here in Dutchess County to make what we do aware. Make the people aware of what we do here in the county. So
I saw all kinds of repairs going on in that particular home.
Yes.
There was the floor was being redone, the roof was being redone. What are some of the other things that people can ask for?
So our mission is warm, safe, dry, and independent. So that's what we're reaching for. Everyone should have that environment to live in. And so it can run the gamut as far as plumbing issues, electrical issues, any kind of safety issues within the home, roofing, leaking, you know, as well. And then we do the modifications. So for elderly individuals, modifications of changing out doorknobs to levers, widening doorways, putting in wheelchair ramps.
What would you say is the market value of the work that you put in homes?
For our National Rebuilding Day, for example, we do approximately 20 homes on that day. The market value, and we look at the value of donated services as well as materials, it's typically around $350,000.
Wow. In Dutchess County?
In Dutchess County.
Wow.
So for every dollar that we have a physical dollar of, we're able to stretch that to $4 in market value.
And where do those dollars come from?
Those dollars, those precious dollars that we really need to buy the materials, mostly is what we use the money for.
So where do you get that funding?
We have a number of sources, corporate sponsorship and foundations. We do get some governmental funding through our county, which is HUD funding, as well as state funding for our Access to Home program, for our modification program. And then we have 2 fundraising events that we do a year.
And again, there's no cost to the recipient.
Yes, that is correct. We do ask that the homeowner stays in their home for a period of time, and if they don't, then we do ask them to repay us. But the idea is that we're bringing that home back to that environment of safety and warm, safe, and dry, and that they would remain in the home. And so the only time that they would need to repay us is if they do not remain in the home within the time frame that we ask them to.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll explain how you can get the help that you need, or maybe if you know of someone who might need help with some home repairs. We'll have that information coming up right after this.
Enjoy the Hudson Valley like never before at St. Francis Hospital's The Taste of the Hudson Valley. The Taste of the Hudson Valley is the original food and wine event that's in a class all by itself. Experience cuisine from the region's top chefs while you sample the finest wines from around the world and attend special auctions benefiting the most important healthcare facility in the Hudson Valley, St. Francis Hospital. It's the premier wine and food event of the Northeast. To find out more, visit us at tastehv.org.
American ingenuity is seen in more than 50 intricately crafted working scale, one-of-a-kind models of inventions that were submitted to the U.S. Patent Office from the 1800s through the early 1900s. And on exhibit now, these inventions will intrigue and delight everyone who visits the Hudson River Museum in Yonkers. And many more adventures await you at the Hudson River Museum. For details, go to hrm.org. Welcome back. We're here with Christina Boryk, the Executive Director of Rebuilding Together. And you have personal stories.
Sure,
you were a volunteer, but you've also seen the personal stories as the Executive Director.
Yes. One project that we recently did, actually this June, we do veterans projects specifically in June for Flag Day. And this particular gentleman is a World War II veteran living by himself, has had several strokes, but fairly independent. he did not have a safe way of coming in and out of his home. The porch to his house was very rickety, did not have the appropriate railings. He didn't have a functioning stove in his home, nor a functioning shower, bathtub. So we were able to work on his house with a team from Vanacore, D. Benedictus, Di Giovanni, and Waddell, actually, and we gave him a whole new bathroom that is handicap accessible, built a new porch, and actually he had some electrical issues as well, and had a storm the week before we were going to work on the house take out the electricity to his home completely. And so we were able to give him a new power cable to his home and all of that.
What did he say at the end?
Oh, he was so appreciative. Actually, our elderly veterans really have, it's beyond words for them. They're so very thankful, and as we were talking about before, they oftentimes don't want to ask for help, and so they're very proud, as they should be, and it's just so nice that we're able to give back to them in this way.
Very quickly, volunteers also have a life-changing experience.
Yes, I mean, we have had volunteer crews. We have corporate teams that have come back to us year after year. We have corporate teams that have been with us every year since the beginning of us here in Dutchess County. We've had family members of people who we've served come back and work with us year after year after we've.
So now, how do people get to you to,
Well, certainly always
to ask for help,
yep,
or to tell someone who they know of who needs help?
Certainly. Really, basically two ways. They can call the office, 845-454-7310, or they can go to our website, rebuildingtogetherdutchess.org. The application for our services are out there, as well as for volunteers can click on.
And you're looking for applicants right now, and you have until November 30th for the following year.
For our Rebuilding Day programs, we take applications once a year, July through November. So they have till November 30th to apply for next year's program.
What's the number like? Do you get hundreds of applicants?
It really depends on the year. We get up to 100 applications in a year. Sometimes we get 40. We typically do about 20 to 25 of those projects in a given year.
Even in these hard times?
Even in these hard times, thankfully, we've still been able to do it, yes.
Wow, I guess I'm just kind of surprised.
That we don't get more applicants?
That you don't get more applicants.
Well, we'll see if we do get more applicants this year.
Okay, well, I'm rooting for you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us. That's all the time that we have for it. And remember, one home won't change the world, but surely the world will change for that one homeowner. In closing, I leave you with these inspirational words. Risk more than others think is safe, care more than others think is wise, dream more than others think is practical, and expect more than others think is possible. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.